All right, so here's my husband, TJ. We've been married for just over 2 years, and we do have a son together, River James. He's literally perfect. So I figured y'all would probably want to hear from him just so you can kind of get another perspective on the whole story. I know I haven't shared my birth story in particular, but you kind of do know what I've been thinking since River's been born. So do you want to take the floor, or do you want me to kind of guide you?
Guide me. I don't know what I'm doing.
All right, so what were your thoughts whenever they told us about River? Like, about the heartbeat?
Yeah, I remember that day pretty clearly. I think the biggest thing for me was just trying to be there for Margaret. I mean, I was really hurting inside, but the biggest concern that I had was just the health and safety of Margaret. That was the priority at the time. And then, I really cared about, getting more answers, but I just wanted to make sure that you were healthy and safe. And I think that was the biggest thing for me.
How did you have the courage to tell our parents?
That's a good question. My role in our relationship is going to be, for me, it's like I really wanted to uphold the promise that I made to your parents to be there and to protect you. And I didn't want you to be exposed to, telling everybody, because it was really hard. And you've already been through so much. So for me, it was just an opportunity to really prove to your parents and my parents too that I can be there for you and stay strong.
What a way to be there. I did have a question someone asked as far as how you're coping, because with dads, they don't allow or offer a lot of coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
So how are you coping?
I think for me, the biggest thing is talking about it as much as possible. It's really hard to do that, but the more you do talk about things, the easier it gets, and that's really hard to say. I think for me, one of the other...
All right, so tell me how you're coping.
It's a good question. The way I like to cope is by talking about it. And fortunately, I've been lucky enough to have friends and family to be able to call or even be with just to talk about things. It's been hard with COVID because we're not able to hang out with as many people as we like. But for me, it's like, if I can talk to friends and hang out with them, for me, I love cooking, and that's a really good way for me to cope.
Cook so good.
I don't know about that, but I like to cook, and that's a way for me to cope. I haven't seen any therapists. I probably should. We've done a couple of these group therapy things, and personally, I didn't really enjoy them just because I felt like a lot of people were more negative, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, that's in their stage. That's perfectly fine. But for me, at that time, I needed more positivity, and all my friends and even you are being positive, and it kind of helps me out. So
I do think I've touched on that a little bit.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, about how like we don't usually go to support groups and stuff anymore just because I mean, rightfully so, it's like a grief share, right? So
Yeah.
people are going there to share their grief and explain where they're coming from. However, TJ and I have kind of come to terms that we've coped and healed and grieved differently than most people.
Yeah.
So we tend to steer clear of those and just kind of have our moments with each other if we're ever down. But our process, I don't know what it is, but our process of healing so far has been super healthy, and we've progressed a lot quicker, I think, than the average parent. So I feel like that's kind of surprising.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
I know the holidays are coming up too, but like,
Yeah.
it's it's kind of like that weird hump right now. We're in like that weird hump, but we've still done really well.
Yeah, I agree. And for me too, you know, if anybody else is going through this, I don't discourage you from, you know, utilizing these resources because
Yeah.
it might have a great impact on you. It was just for us. I think you know, for you, for anybody else that experienced this, even in any type of grief, is to try to experience different resources. And if you don't like
Yeah.
it, you don't like it. That's fine. But at least you tried. And
Well, and that's what we did.
yeah, we tried it. We tried it. Yeah.
We tried everything because we were just desperate just to kind of get through it. And yeah, we went to all of these support groups. I know COVID, a lot of them's through Zoom and stuff now.
Yeah.
Maybe it just was the Zoom aspect that I didn't really enjoy. I'm not sure, but we're doing great.
Yeah.
We're hanging in there. The holidays, I have my moments. I think my moments have been coming more than lately. What about you?
Holidays definitely make me a little bit more sad because I don't have them here.
Yeah.
But what's really nice is to have the opportunity to be with Margaret this year. I mean, we've been having Christmas together for what, 3-4 years now, 5 years now,
About 5, yeah.
about 5 years now, and I look forward to every holiday, even if there's, you know, it's gonna be harder this year. I still look forward to it.
But we have a puppy now. We have 2 dogs.
We have 2 puppies.
One of them's laying in his lap, so that's why we're
right.
kind of like in this awkward position. But let's see. Oh, there was one question someone asked, if you could have one gift to memorialize River, what would it be?
That's a very good question. I'll tell you, one of I've received a lot of great gifts through this whole process. One of them I really loved was the jersey that I got.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I'm a big Eagles fan, and
That was a good one.
yeah, one of my coworkers got a little jersey, an Eagles jersey with River on the back, and that was really cool.
It was so cute.
For me, that was great.
I cried. I even cried, and it wasn't even for me.
So that's a gift
It was
that
really good. Sentimental
Yeah,
for sure.
for sure. That was a gift that I received that I really liked. I think having something that's physical that you could wear too is great, like a necklace. Like I have a necklace that I really like.
The urn necklace.
The urn necklace.
Yeah.
I actually have it on. And it's just a little cross. It's a little urn necklace that I really love. Maybe a bracelet might be good for somebody, just to have maybe their birthday on it. Something to remember them by. And, you know, if it's a guy, bracelet or necklace or something like that. I think that's reasonable for sure.
Yeah, those are all really good options.
I feel like everybody's different, you know?
Honestly, we're not experts at this at all. This is obviously never happened to us, so we're trying to learn this just as much as every single one of you are. However, if we could give any advice, this is kind of where we would stand as far as what we've learned so far. Your experience at the hospital, like from a dad's perspective, what was your experience? Or how would you, what was your experience?
Hospitals suck. They do. They really do suck. But that's just the environment. The people, though, the nurses that we've experienced were awesome. And that's what really kind of helped us through the whole process with some killer nurses. We had a great doctor, too, at one point. Our first doctor, I think maybe Margaret talked about it, but our first doctor, maybe not the best, but that's okay. Probably really, really smart. Just not very sociable.
Yeah.
The cafeteria food wasn't very good, but that's...
I forgot my chocolate milk.
They forgot your chocolate milk, which was...
The first thing you should do when a mother gives birth is cater to the mom, right?
Yeah.
Get her everything she wants, because she literally, one, just went through a war zone, and then two, me personally, I lost mine. Like River, I gave birth to Stillborn. And they forgot the chocolate milk.
Yeah.
I was literally talking about this milk, like, while I was pushing. I was like, I just want chocolate milk.
Yeah.
And they forgot it. My life. I was like, 2020.
Yeah. That was hard. I think the sleeping arrangements were kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But
So
overall, you know.
Yeah. So since ours was so abrupt and sudden and there were no risks with our birth, they actually put us in a C-section room. So they were a little bit smaller than the average one, which I felt was a little unfair. What do you think?
I didn't care. I just wanted to get in and out. That's really honestly what I wanted
but
to do.
come on. Give me the experience at least as much as you can. I don't know.
Yeah. I just wanted to get in and out. But
We were like in and out. He was born at
24 hours. We were there for 24 hours.
24 hours.
Right around 24
Laboring and everything.
Yeah.
24 hours. For sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think of another question that I can ask you.
I don't know.
If you could change one thing, what would it be?
If I could change one thing about the whole process,
Well, I understand like you would rather have River here, but if you could change one thing as far as your grieving and healing process, what would it be?
that's a great question. Maybe working out more. I think that probably would have benefited my overall just health and mental health, is to work out more, and I haven't been doing that. We used to go to the gym. I don't really go to the gym anymore. I gained the COVID-19 pounds there, 19 pounds.
Me too. It's okay. Yeah.
I think that would probably be the one thing I would change.
I had a question.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So I know we've been able to connect with a lot of other people
Yeah.
through this, as far as like how this has happened to a multitude of people, and it's absolutely incredible at the connections we've made.
Mm-hmm.
Are people ever scared to ask or talk to you about River?
Yeah, I think, you have different people, of course. You have some people that are not as expressive. They don't want to talk about it. They might want to avoid it. And hey, that's, for me, like, if that's your personality, I don't want to make you uncomfortable. My personality is that I like talking about it because I want to normalize it. It happens to a lot of people, and it might happen to somebody that you know, and we don't want to hide the fact that it happened. We want to recognize it and hopefully be there for people that have experienced the same thing. So talking about it is good.
How do you approach it? Do you bring it up, or does someone else bring it up?
That's a really good question too. Most of the time, the people I interact with are my family, work, and friends, right? So at work, everybody's been really cool. I do have some of my coworkers that will openly talk about it, some that are a little bit more conservative, I guess. And I've had some coworkers ask me questions that I never really thought about. Friends, I've had some friends very, very open about it, and I really appreciate that. And they almost act like he's still here, which I really like. I've also had some friends that like completely avoid it and don't want to talk about it. And I get that because it's an uncomfortable thing. You can't expect everybody to react the same way and to almost get uncomfortable to talk about it.
Yeah, and I think the hard part is no one's sure on how you're healing. Mm-hmm. Because there are a lot of parents that want to avoid it and don't want to talk about it and just kind of want to shove it under the rug and like move on. Mm-hmm. Where me and TJ, I feel, are very open and want to talk about River, because as much as some parents don't want to recognize it, they are still your baby and they're still a part of you, and we still honor him in every single part of our day.
Yeah.
So I think so if y'all ever see us out or want to talk to us, like man or woman, we're both going through the same thing, you can totally reach out. I know our healing processes may be slightly different just because being a mother and a father, there's different perspectives on everything. Mm-hmm. But I think we would be a good resource for anyone who is interested in talking and reaching out. So
yeah, if you want to buy me a beer sometime, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it.
Oh, yeah, he's totally cool with it.
I like beer.
I did have one more question.
Hit me.
How do you pull yourself out of a rut? When you, like, whenever you think
Yeah.
too much about it and you're just like get all really sad all of a sudden? I know it
Yeah.
happens to me. What do you do?
I think the biggest thing is recognizing it, recognizing that you're in a rut, having that mental part of the day where it's kind of sucks, and just owning it, have that time to grieve, have that time to be sad because you're allowed to be sad. You don't want to avoid feelings. And what happens is, for me at least, is that if you avoid the feelings of sadness, they get bottled up to the
Yeah.
point where it actually physically can hurt you. Like, I've had panic attacks before where it literally feels like a heart attack because I've been suppressing emotion or feelings or anything like that. And that's something that you should be aware of. If you're going through something like this, you need to talk about it. And you also need to experience sadness. You can't avoid it. Don't suppress it.
I agree with that 100%. I think that's the biggest stigma with grieving and healing, especially with stillborns and
And
infant
men.
loss. And men, they
Yeah.
are so overshadowed because as much as we don't want to accept it, they are kind of raised to suck it up and move on, right? Where like I can cry and everyone's like, "Oh, Margaret, like it's okay." But like when like a man in general, I feel like is a little hesitant to show emotion just because of our culture.
Yeah.
So I do agree with that. I think recognizing the situation, recognizing that you are hurting and it's okay and it's natural to hurt is 100% fine.
Yeah.
Granted, coming from a female, maybe that's just me, but coming from the guy who's actually literally going through everything, I feel like that speaks volumes. So
I think a lot of people my age have been raised by a generation that discourages, any type of feeling. And I think that's the reason why we have a huge problem with men, especially in our age, that deal with, really, really deep depression, anxiety. And
suicide rates are higher amongst men too. So I
Yeah.
feel like this is something that not even stillbirth in particular, but also an opportunity to bring out the light and show people that, this is a serious issue and men should be recognized just as much in situations. Trauma, trauma. And trauma does have long-term effects on people and, it's okay to check on your loved ones.
Yeah. It's
For
okay
sure.
to hurt too.
It's okay to hurt.
It's normal.
It's natural. You're human.
Yeah.
So,
Good
is there
points.
anything else you wanted to touch base on as far as your experience with River and everything? Are you able to go in his nursery at all?
Yeah, I am. Sometimes I'll go in there and just kind of look at everything. It doesn't make me sad. And, going in there, seeing everything. I miss him so much. I miss him every day. And there's some times where I just sit there and I'm upset. But yes, sometimes I go in there and just kind of think about him and talk to him. And it's a way of healing. So I like that, yeah.
What is I know me and you talked about this, but maybe other people are curious as far as our future with more kids.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
No, that's a good question.
I know it is.
Personally, I think, we're gonna have more kids in the future. We're gonna have 4 kids, I think. 5. I don't know if I can afford 2, but anyway, we want to be able to have kids in the future and teach them that they do have an older brother and incorporate River into their lives just as much as we would any other kid. So, probably 4 kids. We can raise a little army, and that'd be good.
How are you going to incorporate River in the kids' future?
Celebrating holidays, birthdays, things like that. Teaching them that, from an early age that you do have a brother and He might not physically be here, but we can show them, you know, maybe through religion or maybe through just stories about him, that we can, you know, teach them that he is a person and he's still here, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes me happy.
Good. I don't do it to make you happy though. That's good. No.
Anyway, I think we've kind of touched base on quite a few things. We can always make another video later down the road if people reach out wanting to know more. But I figured it'd be really awesome to kind of hear from you. So thank you for doing that, T.
Yeah, I normally don't do this. She made me do it, so.
I did.
So give her some
I bribed him with a charcuterie board.
No, she didn't. She already had it.
I
had to chop it up for her.
Yeah, you did. Okay. Guilty as charged. But feel free to reach out to TJ or I. I can totally link his contact info on this, what is this called? Video as well. Mm-hmm. That way, any men that are interested in reaching out to him and want to just talk a little bit.
Yeah.
And maybe go to a brewery, a good old Des Moines brewery.
Yep.
If they're even open.
We could wear
Probably
a mask.
not.
It's all good. I prefer wearing a mask anyway.
Well, I hope so.
Don't have to do my makeup. Only half my makeup.
Oh, gosh. Anyway, yeah, I'll leave his contact information for y'all as well, just in case you wanted to reach out. And if y'all do have any more questions, definitely feel free to let me know. But I do appreciate y'all for watching this entire video if you made it this far, but
20 minutes.
I'm so sorry. I'll edit this, I promise. Bye, y'all.
Bye.